Hey, good to have you back. We're talking about the Mixolydian mode. I'm calling this video Mixolydian mode 4, just for lack of anything better right now. And we're looking at spelling chords, at fretboard conceptualization, at vertical improvisational techniques. When I say vertical, I mean like this vertical. That we're playing this way. We're not crossing the fretboard. Really, and how all of this applies stylistically to the blues. So far we've taken a look at the A7 chord because we're in the key of A, right? And underneath the A7 chord we have the Mixolydian mode. Mixolydian mode has a flat 7, unlike the major scale, which has a major 7. And then we went to the 4 chord, which is D7, also again with that flat 7, right? Each chord has its own scale. Each chord has its own arpeggio. Chords come from scales. Okay, now we're going to move to the 5 chord, just in our little box here. Right, there's my 5 chord. Here's my root E, and I'm going to play the Mixolydian mode. There's my flat 7. Again, let's listen to that. Okay. And then underneath that chord, we have the arpeggio. Which is just 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 1, 3, 5, right? And you can see what I'm talking about when I say vertically, right? I'm not going up the fretboard, right? Because that's a whole other consideration, right? We build vertically, and when we fill up the fretboard vertically, we can travel horizontally or laterally across the fretboard. So we have 3 chords in the blues in this case: A7, D7, E7, and A7. Okay. Now, if I were to play, this is a great exercise. You can just play a blues with arpeggios. So you can hear that change. Okay, the only time I didn't play the arpeggio was when I was doing that little turnaround. The beauty of looking at this this way is that you can define the progression, right? You can very clearly hear when the chords are changing. You know, to a degree, I mean, it might be argued that it's a little bit of a jazzier way of playing, but And granted that if you're just playing the arpeggios, you know, if you're doing, you know, this, it's going to start sounding like an arpeggio exercise, but it doesn't have to sound that way, right? You don't have to play through the entire arpeggio. All you have to do is define the chord, define the notes of the arpeggio, and do it at the right time, anticipating the chord changes. That's what this is all about. Practice. How would I practice for this? Well, first of all, you get the Mixolydian mode underneath your fingers, right? You play the chord and you practice that mode. You know, you get that underneath your fingers. When I say practice, I mean practice. I mean, if you want to learn how to improvise, you've got to play the scale maybe 50 times in a session, right? Not 50 times for the rest of your life, but 50 times in a practice session when you're really trying to get something underneath your fingers so it just falls out of your hand, right? And out of your head. And then the same goes for the arpeggio. And you can move the chords around the fretboard. You know, I mean, you can pick a chord and you can pick a, let's go back to this chord since this is, you know, what we were talking about this lesson. Pick the chord. And then you can move it around the fretboard. That kind of thing, and you can start to invent different ways to practice, right? And that's fun. So that's about it. Except I think with this chord here, I'll also add the 9. There it is. Oh, 13. And another nice 13. That's one of my favorites. This one doesn't actually have a root in it, does it? No, it has. Sorry, on the top. There's my root there. So this was spelled flat 7, 3. There's my 13. And there's my root up on top. Yeah, so that's good. So the idea is when you're practicing and you're inventing, get a 12-bar blues going on. Do it without backing tracks and all that junk because they just like they just distract you. Listen for the notes. Just play with the guitar in your hands, doing nothing else. You don't have to be fancy. And you could even do it with the click of a metronome just to make sure that you've got your measures right? 4 measures, 16 clicks, you know, kind of thing, right? So you always know where you are and so you always know how to change when the chord changes, when the changes happen. So the same thing is going to apply in every style of playing, right? This is a concept, and a concept that has been adopted by some of the greatest players in the world. I learned this whole idea when I was a young guy from a workshop with Joe Pass, and he was he was a master, and there's a lot of other players that use this same sort of idea, right? You've got a chord and you've got a scale that's related to the chord, and you've got the arpeggio of the chord. That's your bare bones material, and wherever the chord goes, the scales and the arpeggios go at the same time. Okay, great. If you don't know Joe Pass, you should probably check out some of his work. He's gone now. And yeah, but what a great player and super funny guy. Okay, that's about it for this Mixolydian mode number 4, and we'll see you with the next one, and we're going to examine blue notes against chords. Thanks. See you soon.